Live. You are live, it says.
I cannot get my ukulele off of the stand. So I lied to you. I was not ready. Was not ready. So here we go. Okay. And now, from basements all over the world to basements all over the world. That's why I should write things down. And now, coming to you live from his basement in beautiful Fort Collins, Colorado, it's Stuart Yoshida! So it's OokTown with Stuart Yoshida. Yay!
Yay! And look, there's Heidi just in time.
Hey!
Hey!
Hi! And there's Daniel.
And Daniel, hey! Awesome timing. You just got on the tail end of. You might have even been able to join Doug. Although Doug, I don't think you've sung that song the same twice. Is that true?
I think you're misremembering that.
Oh no!
But for everybody that is not watching the video, Heidi and Daniel are conveniently located just above their names on their video feeds. So it works out great.
Very good. Well, aloha everyone. Welcome to the OokTown Podcast, where we talk about all things ukulele. So it's different now with these video podcasts because you can see everybody, and therefore I will just go around in clockwise as I'm looking at this, which happens to be Doug Brown of the Denver Uke community and my co-host.
Yes, indeed. How's it going?
It's going good. And then we have next, just under Doug is Phil Doleman. Hi. From the UK, just released a new EP, came out 3 weeks ago. Okay, so it's banjo, but it's okay. It's called Might Never Happen. Ooh, you know what I forgot to ask, Phil? How can we get a copy?
You can get it from my website. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on Google Music and all of those kind of things, and Apple Music and everywhere. It's all over the place.
All right.
And a link to that website is on the show notes.
Great. And you know what I forgot to do, Doug? You will never guess.
What?
I forgot to hit the record button, and it is a hit now. So we're all right. So you're going to have to do that intro again, Doug, and this time you're going to have to do it exactly the same.
I'm going to do it exactly the same.
Exactly. I know you can do it.
Exactly the same. Hello, Internet. Here, live from his basement. It's Stuart Yoshida and the OokTown Podcast. Oh, OokTown, it's a time for the OokTown Podcast with Stuart Yoshida. Yay.
Okay. And not exactly the same, Doug. That was
exactly the same.
All right. Let's try it. Aloha, patrons and listeners. This is Stuart Yoshida, host of the OokTown Podcast, where we talk about all things ukulele. And let's try this again. That was Doug Brown of the Denver Uke community. Welcome, Doug, my co-host.
Thank you very much. It's fantastic to be here.
And right underneath Doug is Mr. Phil Doleman from the UK.
Hi, Stuart. Nice to be here.
Yes, and Phil, I know all of you guys watching on the internet are going, hey, haven't we heard this? Deja vu. It's true. But I did the rookie mistake of forgetting to hit the record button. Now, having said that, I was perhaps relieved or it was a welcome news that other podcasters have done the same thing. One said he had gone through 2 hours of podcasting before he noticed he hadn't pushed the record button. And of course, there's the famous Lost podcast of the Denver Ukulele Festival. Was the first podcast I tried to record live, and it just never got recorded.
It was amazing. Like President Obama was there, right. And it was unbelievable.
Awesome. Yes. Anyway, and right next to Mr. Phil Doleman is Heidi Swedberg and Daniel Ward. Welcome.
Hey guys.
Yay.
Yay!
Love your little shoji screen behind you. Very cool. I like that.
That hides the dirty dishes on the
You exactly. Hey, you don't want to see what's behind this curtain, believe me. Actually, Doug has seen it, so Doug knows what's behind that.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
It's mainly giant robots, but you know.
No, not that. No, not that. All right, so this is why I do the podcast, because I was just telling the guys before the show that I have a little bit of the winter blues, and so I need some tips on how to get over that. But you guys are already well on the way to helping me out, and I want to before we begin. In earnest, I want to mention my patrons. So this is the patrons section where I say, hey, aloha and big mahalo nui loa to Robert Sawyer, Mandy Harquette, ukulele player,
Mandy.
Mandy. She's a patron. Thank you, Mandy. And who else? Mary Agnes Krell of Ghana.
Yes.
George and Zavino. Thank you, George. It's great to have you as a patron.
George is wonderful. We love you, George.
George. Jessica Samus. Thank you, Jessica. And our most recent patron, Carolyn Franklin, I think is how you pronounce her name. Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Yay.
And then I also wanted to recognize a listener, Steve. He gave me feedback. He says, every once in a while, I interrupt people too often. So thank you, Steve. And I will
I'll
say...
just take care of that now. Then,
Thank you, Doug. As co-host, you jump right in.
Just jump right on that there.
All right. But no, good feedback. And I know that sometimes I get really excited, like when I have great guests like you guys on. So if I interrupt you, I apologize. And sometimes I blame it on the internets when they get too slow. I don't know when to interrupt or when you're done. And then sometimes I actually do interrupt on purpose because I have to make sure everyone gets a chance to speak. And there was one time when we had Victoria Vox, which was like, oh my gosh. She couldn't hear us. She couldn't hear anyone except me. So she didn't know what other people were saying. That was the worst. Anyway, it's all good. Thank you, Steve. And now let's jump into the topics. You know, last month we had this tour of the UK going on, and I was hoping to get Heidi. She wasn't available. I think the McCabe, is that what you guys are at?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. We were doing the McCabe's Festival. That was so much fun.
Oh, awesome.
We had Alex DeGrassi come down, who's known for his guitar playing. And Alex on uke is a joy because it frees him. He's this beautiful classical finger-style guitarist. But when he gets a ukulele, he strums and he sings and he gets all giggly and nervous. And it's like, so the night before he did this like virtuoso guitar concert, and then the next night did our ukulele thing, and it was like two different people.
Yep, it was great. We had a ball.
It's just, ukulele is so freeing, and I think nobody is freed by it more than a guitar player. You just leave all that stuff behind and have fun.
Oh wow!
So who was the other person though? So it was him, and then when he was playing the ukulele, who was the other person?
Gosh,
Thank you.
Doug.
He played songs he hadn't played since he was, like busking in Europe when he was like 19 years old and stuff. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh, hey, I think Stuart has dropped off the podcast here. In which case, now I'm in charge.
You're in charge.
It's hello and welcome to the OokTown Podcast. A podcast all about making conversation while we wait for Stuart to get back. And well, that sounds awesome. And where was that? Where was that festival?
That was at the McCabe's Guitar Shop in Santa Monica, California.
Oh, very good. Very good.
So famous in Los Angeles.
And
Ouch.
ouch, I tried to adjust the volume on one of the things, and I accidentally took myself out of the podcast. So I missed all of that.
Oh, it was great. Obama was here.
He took my place up there. Oh man, I hate when that happens. So McCabe's is a very famous. Is it a guitar shop? What you probably already said that, but
It's a guitar shop. But at this point, it sells more ukuleles than it sells guitars.
Really?
Well, that's what everyone does at this point.
Oh, I think it's getting there. It's still well. According to these statistics, it's still a little bit, and I believe McCabe sells more, and maybe this is the trend. But since you brought it up, the per capita sales of ukuleles is about 5 per 1,000 people here in the U.S. And then, do you guys know any statistics on the UK? Is that about the same? You know, is there basically there's about 1.8 million ukuleles sold in 2018. Any idea over there in the UK?
I don't know any figures, but I can tell you that you know, in the last, say, 15 years that I've been playing, you've gone from not being able to buy a ukulele for not being able to move for ukuleles. I don't know of a single music shop in the UK that doesn't have a selection of ukes on the wall.
Wow.
It's an incredible change over a really short period of time.
Wow. Okay.
So in 2015, the number of ukuleles that were sold in Britain doubles to 250,000 over the past 5 years. So
wow. And I bet you
I have most of them, but
well, and I was looking at the 5.4 per 1,000 people. So my family covers about 4,000 people. I don't know.
Right. Exactly. I think they do. It's probably true. Yeah. And that's another thing is that, you know, there's it's per capita, but I'll bet you there are a lot of people with multiple ukuleles is the thing. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Couple.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so Phil, you've already answered one of the questions. What changes have you seen? Which is that now instead of being hard to get a ukulele, they're being sold all over the place.
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing in the UK is in schools. So most
really?
schools now will have 15, 20 ukuleles. They'll have a ukulele group. They'll have little concerts that they'll put on. They're now taking grades in the ukulele. In fact, I think I even have a grade book here. This is one of the older ones, but this is the kind of thing that people are teaching in schools now. So that's
Really?
a grade 4 book. Sorry?
Is that Matt
Steed stuff or?
Well, Matt's got pieces in here. I've got pieces in the grade
nice.
5. Yeah,
really?
we've been composing for it. So yeah, you've got charts and you've got tablature and notation, and this is the equivalent of. So this is the University of West London. This is the equivalent of taking a grade 4 in piano or flute or saxophone or whatever.
Wow.
Cool.
And
Nice.
they're great. Yeah.
I want to take a gander at that.
Yeah. Sorry, I missed
I
that.
want to look at that because it's really interesting the idea of having we don't really have our curriculum laid out in such a clear format, and I'd be really interested in seeing that. I got to get a copy.
Oh well, I'll get in touch and I'll put you in touch with the guys that do it and get one over there to you.
Please,
yeah, definitely.
And I think this is kind of part of the whole ukulele initiative in that James Hill does. I don't know where they're at with getting it into other than maybe in Canada. I don't think we have as much in the US. What do you think, Heidi?
I don't think we have it so dialed in. There's a lot of ukes in the schools, and I think everyone's program is kind of their own. I don't know if we have anything that says you've achieved this much. You're a grade 4 level.
Yeah.
Not quite that well codified.
It's a real tradition in the UK. That is that you go to school and you learn an instrument and you go through the grades,
Really?
And there are so, for example, because this one's now accredited, and it could be any university, but because this is accredited to the University of West London, that will count towards exam points and university entrance and things like that, just as dance exams do and things like that in this country. So my daughters have just taken dance exams, and they're going to go towards their points, which will give them a better chance of getting the grades for the universities they want to go to.
Yeah, I don't think our educational system values arts at all. I mean, I think we have levels that you have to pass in math and science, but I don't think there's anything besides, like, in high school, advanced placement art, which counts as college credit. But we don't put much value on the arts.
We've lost some, that's for sure.
Yeah, we're losing it. We are losing it.
Really?
We used to get
that's not
instruments in school, and now you have to rent your own instruments and buy your own instruments. So it's immediately a whole load of kids are excluded because they can't afford it.
Which is why the ukulele is a very good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
to that they're affordable, and you can still go to class and learn music.
Yeah.
And you would think in a place like Los Angeles, which is, the entertainment industry, that they would value that. I don't know.
You're not allowed to, because we have to follow Common Core.
Right.
So one of the things that the whole point was to bring the level of education up to national standards, has done nothing but bring it down, because we have to teach towards the test. And it was basically a good idea that was a really bad idea. But No Child Left Behind initiative and the Common Core initiatives, both of those things moved towards standardizing education so that we could see, yes, we are succeeding, and it's led us to fail. It's actually one of the few places where the far left and the far right agree.
Wow. Well, look at you guys. Look at you. Which is I don't know, that's good and bad, I guess. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah,
where we are.
It is. And I know that there's a lot of initiatives to get ukuleles in the classroom. And I think that's a great thing. And hopefully we'll get more over there. I mean, I'm hoping, in the UK, is it that I know there's been a lot of austerity measures, or whatever you want to call it, services that have been cut back, and that's been affecting a lot of people, and that's kind of we're going to talk a little bit about that later. Well, actually, we can talk about it too. The London Ukulele Project, I think, speaks a little bit to that. We had talked with Matt Stead last month about another. Kind of a health crisis or a social crisis. I don't know what you want to call it in the UK. Yeah. Was that part of in that? Wasn't it in the article that you did?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Oh man, and that kind of hit home. It's like, it's so easy nowadays to isolate yourself. With the internet and and I'm guilty. It's like, put an order into Amazon. I don't have to leave the home,
Phil, do you know Tara Maisie?
We've linked up online, but it's something I wanted to get involved with, is the London Ukulele Project. I've been talking to Matt about it, and it looks fantastic. And
she's absolutely lovely.
Yeah, she seems great. We've chatted, we've exchanged messages online, and she looks fantastic. And I lived in London for a long time. I lived in a fairly deprived area of London for about 11 years, and I worked with children in that area as well. So it's something I'd like to go back and do more of. Now I have the uke to do it with, which I didn't have then.
Well, Heidi, since you're mentioning that, tell us a little bit more about your interview with the people in the London Ukulele Project.
Tara is the heart and soul of it, and she organizes ukulele workshops and performances and groups for literally all ages. which is a delightful thing. But one of the foremost areas that she works in that specifically deals with the loneliness crisis is with a group called Age UK, which is an organization that focuses on people over 60, Phil?
I think, that's, I'm not positive, but I think it'll be over 60 or maybe 65 is kind of a key thing in the UK because that's often seen as 65. Retirement age.
Right. So people of beyond retirement age, and she has a ukulele club in London that has changed people's lives. We visited it and played with them, and then played a gig with them, and it was unbelievably beautiful. There was one lady who sang a song. It was so sweet. You know, most of these people are people who've always wanted to do music and haven't had a chance. But these are people who are at risk of not having a conversation with another person all week long. Mm-hmm. People who are isolated in their homes, who really, really need this community. And so she sang this Ed Sheeran song. Right. And it was so sweet. And her husband had died the year before, and it's a love song. And she sings this love song in her voice with a simple strum. And I tell you, I cried so hard listening to her just sing for, the first time performing. And so honest and so beautiful and so surrounded by people who are supporting and loving. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. And now they are going to, they just did a big busk in Waterloo Station, I think yesterday, for Christmas. And they are now on a mission to connect with other people. So the people who have been served are now the people who are serving.
Oh, that is great.
Beautiful to watch.
Wonderful. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a really neat project. Well,
yeah.
We will. I'm assuming Doug has already sent me the link. That's how much. That's how much I trust it. But that's her, right?
Yes, she is.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Well, this is a really great. Now, Heidi, how the heck did you get this gig where you're like, you're like half of Ukulele Magazine or something now? Every time I see this, I go, "What is Heidi Swedberg? Heidi Swedberg? What's that?" And Daniel Ward, of course. Don't forget Daniel. I know he's got some pieces in here too.
Well, what happened is she wrote one piece for them, and it's good stuff. So they keep asking her back because she writes well.
Really? Wow. A second career or something? Third career? Fourth career? Wow. That's awesome.
I'm going to take up landscape painting and epic poetry next.
Nice.
More things that will make me less money even. I can actually really devote myself to not making a living. I think that's the best way to do it.
I know. Well, you're going to have to come out with the Heidi Swedberg line of ukuleles and just, sell the heck out of it.
No, that would be going against my
principles.
Okay. See, what you do is you make the Heidi Swedberg ukuleles out of money, so they end up costing twice as much as you sell them for, and then you're guaranteed to lose. So,
yeah.
Like old Dan Electros, you just turn them into pulp, take the money, and then you press them into shapes.
Exactly.
Nice. Well, let's continue on the tour of the UK. What are the highlights of your tour, Heidi?
Well, the biggest highlight, of course, was seeing Phil Doleman.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. First thing I did was borrow his ukulele to teach one of my classes.
Oh, no.
Like, Phil, I need a high G. Can I borrow his ukulele?
That's okay. I've got loads. You can anytime.
So yeah, it was the Grand Northern Festival was first. We went up there to start the tour, and then we kind of just came down the waterfall all the way down to Bournemouth, one city at a time, stopping places and playing with youth groups. And
now, was that part of this whole assignment, or you were just touring kind of the UK?
Well, the way the assignments work is I kind of figure out what to write about while I'm doing my thing. So
That's great.
So they all kind of go together. I feel really, really fortunate to have. Hey, cats! What are you doing?
They want some attention.
We got a kitten.
I'll get him.
Okay.
Oh.
His name is Kermit, but he's
Is he green?
He's a disruptor. He is a little green, actually.
Say hello to Kermit. Oh, look at Kermit. Oh, Kermit, the internet cat. There you go.
There's a meme in there.
His eyes are green.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think a day goes by that we don't look at each other and go, wow, how did we step in this? It's such an amazing life.
Wow. That's pretty neat. Well, I guess as Joseph Campbell said, you followed your bliss, and that was maybe the thing. Phil, since you are living in the UK, I don't know, I guess it's a kind of a different perspective that you have, since, we're seeing it from, or Heidi's seeing it from that vantage of, let's see what the scene is. But what are your impressions now of what's going on ukulele-wise in the UK?
When it started becoming a thing, which is in the UK, which is probably only about, I started playing 17 years ago, and I couldn't buy a uke and I couldn't find anyone to play with. So maybe 15 years ago, it started to sort of move. And I think it's gone from, maybe being one ukulele club in the UK that wasn't something to do with the George Formby Society, because we have that whole other thing going on over here, which has been going on for decades. There's now a ukulele club, at least one ukulele club in every town that I go through. And I usually visit somewhere in the region of 25, 30 clubs a year.
Wow.
But then the next year, I might not visit any of the ones that I visited the previous year.
Wow. Oh, that sounds awesome.
So 2 years on, some of those I'll visit again. Then there'll be some more new ones. And it's interesting because with Heidi talking about the London Ukulele Project and the Age UK, I do a lot of visits to ukulele clubs that are part of the University of the Third Age in the UK, which is a social organisation for people who are retired, who are looking for new things to do and people to do it with. And almost every town has one. And they've almost all got a ukulele group amongst their other things that they do. They might go walking, they might have watercolor painting, whatever. But there's nearly always a ukulele group. And a lot of my students are people who are over the age of 60, never played an instrument before in their life, and are suddenly thinking, hey, I've got the time to do this now. What am I going to do? And of course, they'll ask a few people and they'll find that there are 20, 30 people who are attending these clubs. So they've instantly got a social circle as well as a new hobby. And then you find them, they're going out there performing. So, you walk down the street at a food festival, a Christmas market, and there'll be a ukulele group playing there. And they'll nearly all be retired people who've never done this before in their lives. So it's a fantastic thing to see. And every year I would do an interview with a radio station or something like that. And they'd be talking about when was the bubble going to burst. I think they gave up after about 10 years of saying that every year saying, but the bubble's going to burst soon. And no, well, it hasn't. And it's gone from strength to strength, really.
I think the nice thing is that it's not a skyrocketing. It's popular and it's increased in popularity, but it's not like a bubble where it's the tulips are now costing 1,000 times as much. And in fact, it's probably the opposite. Where what I think is also neat is that the custom ukulele market is still going strong. It seems to me. What do you guys think?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's picking up. It's a really interesting intersection. The popularity of ukulele, I think, is an interesting intersection with good mass-produced ukes becoming available so that everyone can start.
Yeah.
And then the high end is now catching up because once people start and get playing, they want something better. So the two things are helping each other out. But I think really we have China to thank for a lot of the ukulele's resurgence.
Yeah, they have some amazing ones. I talk about this Maoloa one. You guys probably know. Brain freeze. Milo. Yeah, everyone knows Milo. We're gonna have to get Milo on. Can you get Milo on? Because
Milo was at the caves.
I'll bet. I mean, that guy is just phenomenal on the bass. It's just like, geez.
We could actually get him here to the apartment because he moved to Los Angeles. So next time you have a show, let us know and we'll get him on.
Awesome. Because he's played with some of the best players. His bass playing is so in the pocket, and when he takes a solo, it's just like wow. But anyway, and he plays a Maoloa, which is a Chinese-made one, and Calais Gamiao. Aldrin would be happy because I think I pronounced it correctly. Calais Gamiao plays one too, and boy, they're amazing.
Yeah. The Chinese factories really got the sweet spot of inexpensive and quality instruments going.
Yeah.
And now other places as well. Koaloa makes something in
Thailand. Yeah, the Opio.
Those are beautiful.
Those are beautiful ukuleles.
What? Whoa, back up. Koaloha?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, their second line, Opio, is made in Thailand now.
Oh.
They trained all the factory people in Hawaii, and then they moved back and started making them. They're really good.
Oh, there's a spruce top one,
the spruce
right?
tops now too. Yeah, the price point is amazing. They're really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same Koaloa with the kind of the pineapple head, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I have one of those, and their Koa ones are very sweet. I mean, they're so light and they're so lively. I love that.
Yeah.
And now they have a factory over in where? China now, you said?
Thailand.
Thailand. Okay.
So when you see Koaloa Opio, the second line is made at that factory.
Oh,
they're very inexpensive for the quality. It's kind of amazing.
And if you want to take a look at one, you'll find a link on the show notes.
Okay, Doug.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done, Doug. Well, what's it like in the UK in terms of custom ukuleles and such, Phil?
Oh, I mean, we're getting new builders all the time, and a lot of builders who were building other instruments are now starting to make some incredible ukuleles. So, I mean, the big ones that we have over here you might have heard of, Pete Howlett, who actually started making ukuleles in Wales for Hawaii. Early on in his career, he was shipping ukes out to Hawaii from Wales.
Wow.
He makes beautiful instruments. We have, there's so many now. And a lot of them are very small. So they might just be building in their garage, building small amounts. We have a guy called Ken Timms, who's really an engineer. He just makes Martin replicas.
Oh, you're kidding. Ooh.
And they are incredible, absolutely incredible. You would not know one from a Martin by the headstock logo. They play incredibly well. And he doesn't even make them to order. He just makes a dozen, sticks them on eBay. I think they used to go for about 150 quid. I think you're lucky if you can get one for about £700 or £800 now.
Wow.
Because people started realizing how good they were.
Wow.
I play a ukulele built by a guy called Steve Evans, which is a Beltona, which is the one that you borrowed, Daniel, the white one.
All right.
He makes resonator ukuleles with a sort of a glass fiber resin body rather than metal or wood. And he's just up the road from me in Leeds. And they're incredible instruments. James Hill has one of those. He's managed to get from his little workshop, his one-man operation, and get those instruments into the hands of big players. And I think that's the thing that makes it now. If you can get your instrument into somebody's hands and they will play it on a stage or on their, on their YouTube channel, suddenly that's a great way of getting your name known.
Yeah.
But there are so many small builders now. In fact, Pete Howlett, who I mentioned, he has a festival every year, which is called Meet the Ukulele Maker Festival. And he gets artists to perform, but he also invites amateur builders to show off what they do. So all the people going there get to see these instruments that they would never have encountered before because they've just been made in someone's shed. And he's trying to give them a bit of a leg up to get their instruments out there.
And wasn't he trying to also share his knowledge of building? I remember that maybe Pete had a health crisis.
Pete has Parkinson's. Yeah, he has Parkinson's disease, and he finds it harder and harder to do a lot of building. So what he's been taking on other people to work alongside him. And the current thing is this sort of factory simulation project where he's designed a uke that can be built by almost like a little production line. And he can let other people build those ukes. They don't have to be built by him, but they're built to his plans. He's trying to make 1,000 instruments before he can't build any more. He's getting pretty close.
Really a beautiful project.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fantastic stuff.
How neat. I think even Mary Agnes Krell's husband.
Of course, I should have mentioned Rob. Yes, Rob at Tin Guitar. Absolutely. I have several of his here.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. He started making them out of tin cans and wood that he found in skips and things like that. And then they just developed and he beautiful instruments.
No, neat.
Yeah, I can see one from here.
Well, you're kind of good segue because well, first of all, let's take a break because I don't think I got Heidi and Daniel's latest. So let's take a break first.
And by the way, you didn't redo Phil's latest either, so you need to retouch on that.
Thank you.
That's what I'm here for.
Thank you, Doug. You the man. Oops, I got to point the other way because you the man. There we go.
For everybody that's not watching the video, he is trying to point on the video to where I am located. So.
It's all screwed up on the screen, but I love how they put us in there. All right. Well, first of all, I want to thank my guest Phil Doleman, first of all, with your new EP that you did in 1 week. So it came out 3 weeks ago. It's banjo. It's okay. It's even. It's allowed. It's called Might Never Happen. Awesome. And you can get that where?
You can get that from my website, which is www.phildolman.co.uk. You can also find it on Spotify and all the usual kind of outlets, and Bandcamp.
Oh, I love Bandcamp.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it's a fantastic place, Bandcamp. Yeah.
Very cool. Great to have you back on the show. Phil contacted me years ago. I had no idea who you were, by the way. I just out of the blue got an email and they said, "Hey, you want a copy of my CD?" I said, sure. And then found out, he's a ukulele player. And I said, well, why don't you come on the show? And it's been a blast having you back on every time.
Thank you.
All right. And Heidi Swedberg and Daniel Ward out in the Los Angeles area, fresh from the McCabe Ukulele Festival. What have you guys been up to? What projects?
Durango, right?
We went to Durango. We had a wonderful time up there. And
nice.
So Phil, you were talking about the clubs you going to visit the clubs. I think that is like the best model for real ukulele get-together. So we went up to Durango and we did something for their club, which was like a little mini festival. They opened it up to the public, so we did it at the local college, and then we did a show at the local college's theater, and it was a really great thing, a really exciting small event, because we got to have classes with this very intimate group of people for 2 days straight, and just the two of us, and teaching together and performing together, and then working with them. just the intimacy of that and working with a club, I think it's my favorite model of ukulele event.
We were talking about ukulele experiences, and that theme keeps coming up, where you have more of these kind of more intimate get-togethers over several days. I think Matt Stead does something also in the forest, or what does he call it? The forest.
He has the Forest Ukulele Retreat, which is where his shop is, at this wonderful sort of converted mill kind of building, little craft center, and he has a shop there. In fact, he's just moved into a bigger unit. He's got too many ukuleles.
Yeah.
It's 60 meters away from the other one.
Yeah, that's literally. It wasn't there was no van involved in the move. No.
But
he has a smaller one.
Oh, 2 sheds.
2 sheds.
Matt,
2 sheds.
2 sheds. 2 shed.
Nice Python reference. Yes. But no, he's got a winter retreat, which is just me and Matt. We're teaching, I think, 15 people this little residential course over a weekend in the middle of January, in the middle of the Forest of Dean, in these nice little cottages, and everybody's staying there for 3 nights. And we don't know what we're going to teach because they're going to tell us what they want us to teach them.
Oh, wow.
And we can have, we maybe have 6 or 7 people each who can say, show me this, or let's figure out how to do that. And it's a much more two-way kind of thing rather than me turning up with my workshop notes and 50 people in a room and me just delivering that workshop. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Wow, cool. Well, I think that's all part of like delivering a different type of experience, from Durango, that kind of thing. Oh, wait a minute, Doug is
okay. So the Forest of Dean is here.
Hold on. So there we go.
Right in there is where the Forest of Dean is, and London is over here. So you can take a train or a car or a plane, maybe, I don't know. But that's where the Forest of Dean is.
Yeah. Where's Durango? Hey, Durango, you gotta do the Durango now. Show us Durango.
do. So there's me. And Durango's down in here. There's Durango. There. For everybody that's just watching, is not watching, I'm playing with maps. So
okay, well, you're gonna have to add the map in again. What's that?
Oh, did I turn it off?
Yeah, you.
There we go. So here is Durango, and we'll zoom out. And there's the United States. That's way out. So that's where Durango and the Forest of Dean are.
And the Forest of Dean. Plan a route.
The 2 things you need to know in the world: Durango and the Forest of Dean.
Durango is what, a couple hours south of you?
It's it depends on which route you take, but it's probably about 3 hours south.
Okay, and I noticed that Heidi and Daniel, is that a wine break or tea break? You're having tea, or is that Scotch whiskey?
Water. So.
Okay. I do have sparkling water. We still have not gotten a product placement deal yet. I don't know.
This was done with a Soda Stream at home.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
See, you should get Soda Stream
for all those people that need soda but want to stream it.
Okay. I think I lost my train of thought, but
We're good.
What else? I'm sorry. We're supposed to talk about you, Heidi and Daniel.
Well.
What's your projects? Ooh, what's that?
So this is our new book, which we're really, really excited about. I grew up with music books in our family piano bench, which were illustrated. Every one of them had a beautiful title. I got some of my old books right here. Books like this, which they're illustrated. They have these great, crazy titles.
Oh my gosh! I think I had that book.
We all did. So but they were treasures. They're things that we learned the songs from them, and we associated them.
If you ever see me moving around, because I'm trying to get a better view of that.
There's a good English carol there.
Huh.
Oh.
One of our good friends is an illustrator, and she did the drawings for us. And her husband's a graphic designer, so he did the font work and the layout. And this is our Christmas book. So what it's got, holiday book, I should say, because it's got songs that are Hanukkah themed.
Yes.
As well as solstice.
No. Oh, very good.
Yeah. And they're traditional songs from around the world, but they start with being very simple. Woo! This
nice.
one is
I saw 3 ships. Lovely.
Ah, it's a nice
all
tune.
with the open C6 chord, so that you can work with small children. You can put a uke in someone's hand and just have them strum, and they can participate. So it goes from that to fully ukestrated.
Ooh.
Oh wow. Oh yeah. Whoa.
Bass part and rhythm and 2 separate harmonies and stuff.
Oh, well, how do I get a copy of that?
Well. And Daniel.
I'm trying to help you guys out. Come on.
I know. You know what we really suck at? We don't have like the self-promotion gene. We really are lacking it. We don't take good selfies. We don't post stuff on the web. And anytime someone asks, "Oh, where can we get your stuff?" It's like, "Well, I don't know. I'll give you a copy." I mean,
so you can actually buy it at danielward.net, my site, and it's also up on the Ukulele Magazine store.
Oh, cool.
All our other stuff.
All right. So danielward.net and Ukulele Magazine.
I love this illustration so much. Los Peces en el Río is a villancico. Villancicos are songs from the villages, and
Spanish.
They're incredibly wonderful songs because they don't necessarily do the Jesus, Joseph, and Mary sort of stuff. This one, the chorus of the song translates to basically, see how they drink the fish in the river. They drink and they drink because they're so happy that Jesus is born. It's like, so
Nice.
Nice.
you know, you gotta love that. So there's fish.
Oh, and that's why you have the fish drinking. Excellent.
How do fish in the river drink?
Of course.
Like fish. I don't know. And so there's songs in there in Spanish, in Portuguese. There's a song from Brazil called Borboleta, which is about a butterfly because Christmas in the Southern Hemisphere is
that one's beautiful.
Summer.
Is in the summer.
Yeah.
And there's a song in Swedish, the Sankta Lucia song. Song about the return of the light.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, hold on. I'm going to add this in here. There we go.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Ooh,
and there is a link in the show notes to get to this where you can put buy now right down there.
Thank you guys.
That's crazy.
Thank you so much for making that happen.
We do what we can.
Thank you.
You want to hear one of these?
If it's a non-copyrighted in terms of it, I would love to.
That's the other thing. All of these songs are public domain.
Awesome. Go for it.
All right. You want to do Borboleta?
Sure. This is the one from Brazil. Borboleta pequenina, saia fora do rosal. Venha ver cantar alegria, hoje noite de Natal. Borboleta pequenina, saia fora do rosal. Venha ver cantar alegria, hoje noite de Natal. Eu sou uma borboleta pequenina e feiticeira. Ando no meio das flores, procurando quem borboletas pequeninas saem fora do calçado. Venha ver cantar alegria, hoje nós de Natal.
No.
Yay!
Whoa, that's lovely.
pretty, huh?
So that's a song that was written, it first showed up in print in the 1880s.
Oh, really? Wow.
And it's an
Awesome.
old Brazilian standard Christmas song.
So we do it kind of bossa-ish.
I heard that. I love that.
Yeah.
Because I love samba, bossa nova kind of
And
music.
it's summer in Brazil for Christmas, so there's about butterflies.
Nice. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I know that is wild when you go in the other hemisphere here. Wow, cool. And we had talked a little bit about this when you were talking about the ukulele luthier over there in Great Britain, where he because of his Parkinson's, he's trying to make he's inviting other players. So mentors. You know, what do you think a mentor does? Is just hold on. Wait a minute. Did I forget Doug? Doug, what's going on?
Well, first of all, of course, like everybody, I'm participating in Whamageddon, where you try to make it all the way through the month of December without hearing Last Christmas.
Okay.
And so I'm 15 days into it, doing awesome. And then we've got our holiday song meeting of the Denver community coming up, and that's great too. So, and then of course, this being the most holiest of weeks because Star Wars opens on Friday, and so pretty excited about that. And and a chance to wear my the shirt my twin brother got me for Christmas last year. For everybody who is listening,
yes,
it's a Mele Kalikimaka shirt with the only stipulation that I had to wear it in July, and so I wore it every week in July. It was
great. I hope you washed it then.
Yes, indeed.
Awesome. Yes, Mele Kalikimaka, the Hawaiian way of saying Merry Christmas, which was actually I think it was written as a advertisement of some sort. Do you remember, Heidi? Because it was it's such a popular song, but I think it started off.
Well, that would make sense.
Yeah.
It's got that sound. It's Johnny Noble, right?
Is it? Okay.
Is it? I don't remember, but
I don't remember either.
Yeah,
we figured out that at one of our meetings we did I'd like to teach the world to sing, and somebody said, oh well, it's really a bummer how they took that song and made it into an advertisement. And I found out that it was an advertisement.
Exactly.
They made it into a song.
Exactly.
One of our favorite Spanish language songs comes from Panama, and it was an advertisement for the Panamanian 7-Eleven. Years ago. But it became such a well-loved song that everyone from Panama knows it. Al tambor de alegría, yo quiero que tú me lleves. Al tambor de alegría, al tambor de alegría, yo quiero que tú me lleves. Al tambor de alegría.
Oh man, for some reason now I want one of those stale hot dogs that you get from one of the 7-Elevens. I don't know why. Hey, Doug knows about that. He's the one that told me.
Going around and around.
Doug has a great. Which episode was that, Doug?
I don't remember, but are any of you familiar with King Diamond, the death metal artist? So big heavy metal death metal artist with the black the white face paint and everything. The club that I was working at, they brought their own lighting guy, and so I was just there helping out that day. And they said, "Do you want to go pick up King Diamond?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." And so I went and picked him up, and super nice guy. But drove him to the venue, and then afterwards, I drove him back to the hotel, and his manager said, "Oh, well, we need to go and get..." That's a terrible accent. I'm not going to do that anymore. But he was saying that Nordic, King would really wants a hot dog. And I said, "Oh, well, we've got lots of restaurants up and down this road. We can go to Burger King or, wherever." "Oh, yeah, well, that's great. But King would like a hot dog." And we went to, so it's 11 o'clock at night. We went to 3 different 7-Elevens. And at the third one, like the most beef jerkiest little things going back and forth. And he's like, "Oh, wow, that's great." And I made a big deal about it. "Oh, King Diamond gets his hot dog." And he's like, "Would you like a hot dog?" I'm like, no. I'm okay. He said, no. Here, have a hot dog. King would want you to have a hot dog. I'm like, okay. I still have that hot dog in a Ziploc. It's gross. So
autographed by King Diamond. That's awesome. Anything else going on, Doug?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Whamageddon, is that a real thing?
Whamageddon is, yes. Tried, "Last Christmas, I gave you my heart."
Are you taking yourself out?
What now?
Are you just taking yourself out?
No, because you have to hear him doing that. So
you have to hear
remixes don't count. So if you it's like bump, last Christmas, bump, that does not count. But
in our quarter, we have a game called the Little Drummer Boy Challenge.
Nice.
It's the same thing, except it's if you hear the Little Drummer Boy song, which is a pretty awful, evil song. But what's really evil about it is the number of people who have covered it, from Bing Crosby to David Bowie. It's like, no. You can't believe some of the people who take you out. So there.
And the John Denver version, there's no drums.
Of course there's not.
All right.
Okay, what were we talking about now?
That's why I have this. See, that's why I have this. Okay, I was gonna go into mentors, and so we've solved half this problem with Doug, because now Doug starts off the show, so I don't forget to introduce him, but then in the middle of the show I still forget when we need to go around and say what we're doing. So mentors, that's a really good example of, I think, a mentor here, where he's trying to pass along what he knows by doing that.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because when you mentioned mentors, I mean, that was actually the first thing that came to mind was Pete's project, because personally, I've always, well, not always, most of the time I've been on my own. Mm-hmm. I've performed on my own and traveled on my own. So even though I've been in various bands, if you add up all the years, most of the time it's just been me. And I think that's probably because I'm impossible to work with, because I'm a complete control freak, because I want to do everything. And so I thought back on that, and I thought there must be somebody I can think of that might have been a mentor for me, but I couldn't really think of anybody, because most of the time, often the mentor is somebody that you end up playing with. There might be somebody in your band, or you as a younger person join a band and there's somebody who's leading that band, and they take you under their wing. But I really haven't been in that many bands. I've tended to do it all on my own, so I've kind of had to learn the hard way.
Now, I think you don't have to personally know someone and they can be somewhat of a mentor. I don't know if that's possible, but is there examples of that?
There's certainly people that I saw when I was just starting to play that I followed. And this is before the days of the internet. So every time they played, I would be at the gig and I would be at the front row and I'd be watching their fingers. And, you probably wouldn't even know the names, but there was a guy called Isaac Guillory, a guitarist called Isaac Guillory. People know his daughter, Sienna Guillory, because she's a big Hollywood actress. But Isaac Guillory, born in Guantanamo Bay of all places, but lived in Coventry. Would sing in Spanish and English and play the guitar. And I used to go and see every gig. I used to go around the folk clubs, around the UK, these little places in the backs of pubs where there would be 20 people, and go and watch him play. And he was the guy that I saw. It was the first gig that I went to where it was one person and not a huge band on a big stage. And I could see him a few feet away. And so, yeah, definitely listening over and over again to his records and seeing his concerts had a big effect on me. Yeah.
Heidi, Daniel, what are your thoughts on mentors? And we'll go into, if you had, you can talk about mentors that and then we'll go in from there.
Well, music teachers of all sorts have always been my mentors. In high school, it was my jazz ensemble instructor, who was also my trumpet teacher. Trumpet was my first instrument for years and years. And then I went to college and got hooked on classical guitar. And John Truitt became my mentor, who showed me the dark ways of flamenco guitar instead of classical, where you could actually hang out with other people and play for dancers. And Chuscales, he was like a technique, the most amazing stuff I'd ever seen someone do with their right hand. And so
is that the tapping or slapping? I can't remember what.
The rasgueados and the tapping and the slapping, they treat it almost like rudiments for a drum. You learn to go out and in and tap and up and down.
Oh wow!
There's a different technique for each rhythm that the dancers do. So it's very much like the tablas in music, where there'll be a syllable for it, but in flamenco there's actually a step for some of this stuff, and you actually have to make it sound like a heel toe stomp something, and pick it up,
I think flamenco is a form which is taught almost entirely by mentors.
Yeah.
It's not something that you can study in school. It's not something that's written. It's something that you learn from other players and the dancers themselves.
So a rhythm in flamenco is kind of like writing German words. It's like, it's so awful. You look at one tiny bar of flamenco that you just can't really read it. So you have to pick it up and sit next to somebody who does it and watch.
Most flamencos also don't read music.
No, it would be awful to try and write that down.
I know. I was introduced to flamenco through Paco de Lucia, who was amazing player, and he played with some incredible guitarists himself, Aldi Miola and John McLaughlin. But that guy could smoke on the flamenco guitar.
Yeah.
How about you, Heidi?
I was really mentored by a gentleman named John Zender, who was the luthier and a teacher at McCabe's. John was a beautiful man. He had a long, crazy beard, and he was soft-spoken and kind. And he helped me understand what I was there for. And it was a really great gift that he gave me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Doug, how about you?
Well, hey dog. So I didn't really have YouTube was my mentor, but then but I actually got the amazing chance to be a mentor. Daisy,
bring over Daisy. Seems like we get Daisy every other show.
Yeah, she's with the change, and there's a cat outside. So Daisy, hey, come here.
We've got a cat over here in the right now.
Yeah, maybe it's Heidi's cat.
Kermit.
But I got the chance to have a junior high school kid work with me at this theater that I worked at, and he worked with me for 4 years, and really really got to, and he's actually now the monitor engineer for Brad Paisley's band, which is entirely because he's awesome and has very little to do with me. But having that one-on-one interaction and really being able to go into in depth about things, it's an amazing. Was an amazing opportunity. And his mom said, well, Doug, like, you don't even realize how important that connection was. And the fact that he didn't used to be sarcastic, and now everything that he says is just, yeah. So
that's the dark side of mentoring.
Somebody. Yeah.
There it is.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. And so you're kind of going into the next part about how do we be mentors? So you just took them under your wing and wow. Yeah. You never know what's going to happen. It's amazing. Those kind of things. My own experience with mentoring, there's to me lots of mentors, both that I've known and just read about, and, some of the things, Joseph Campbell is amazing. I don't even know what you call him, scholar, on the hero's journey and mythology, amazing guy. And in music wise, E.P. Davis, who was one of the first guys on this show, along with Doug, we played a lot of gigs together. And he would always he showed me how to do things, and I didn't, and he didn't like try and, well, Stuart, here's how you do it, but I would observe all these things and like, oh, wow, you're really prepared. And, he would bring water because, it's like, oh, of course you got to drink, otherwise you can't sing. Just all these little things. And then, he just showed how to be a performer, a solo performer, even though I was with him. And then eventually I may have mentioned this, he semi-retired. And then when he started getting calls for more gigs, he just said, well, no, why don't you give Stuart a call? And I was like, I can't do it without EP. But, he was like, no, not doing it anymore. And then it forced me to become a better performer. And then I realized, oh, yeah, this is probably all because of EP. I didn't even realize it.
Yeah,
So
there's a generosity that you have to that a mentor has to hold in their heart for allowing other people to shine and perhaps outshine.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it takes curbing one's own ego to really be a fine mentor.
Good. That's really good advice. Is that a cat fight or what are you guys doing? That's great advice. So that we're moving into where I want to go. Is so yeah, how do you be a good mentor? That's a wonderful advice. Is that you do have to let them shine, and I can't always be the one. Well, let me show you how to do this kind of thing. So that's a really great thing. Phil, what else would you like to add there? Any thoughts?
It caught me a bit by surprise at a festival recently. I was playing at in Shrewsbury, this wonderful ukulele festival on a farm there, and apart from the fact that I was headlining it, and there were two other performers, Matthew Gwilliam and Charlie Beer, and they were both 18, and both amazing players. And Charlie is a blues player. And we sat and we chatted, and he knew all the same references that I did. He really knew his stuff. He knew all these obscure old blues guys, and we sat and had a bit of a jam. And then after a while, he sort of looked at me and went, "This is weird." And I said, well, "Why?" And he said, "Well, it's only just dawned on me, but you're the reason I play blues on the ukulele, because I started playing the ukulele and saw you on YouTube." And I said, Yeah, it is weird. It's getting very weird very quick. But I said, so you've got to come and play with me. And he said, like, when? What's like, on the stage now?
Now.
When we go on. So he came up and he did some tunes with me. And, that's the thing that we'll find, that we'll bump into each other at festivals. And when we do, we'll play together. And the nice thing about that is not, anything to do with like you say, with egos and things like that, I just found somebody that I could see that loved what I loved. And I thought, well, how ridiculous would it be to not play together? And if we both love this, why not get on the stage and play it together and show people this is how you do it? And that kind of music as well. You were saying about flamenco, blues and a lot of the American old time music I play. Traditionally, it was never written down.
Yeah.
You didn't get a book of it. You basically went and, I mean, you can get a book of it now because I wrote one. But it's the sort of stuff that you would pass on by listening and imitating and then making it your own. And I think festivals are a great opportunity for that because, it's like Daniel and Heidi. I mean, how many times have we actually met each other face to face? I think it's probably three times, but at different festivals and things like that were good enough. We were in Asilomar. First time I was in Asilomar, and yet there's all these little orbits of different people going around, and you bump into them at different places, maybe even different countries, and you can pick up where you left off, and you can share different things with those people when you meet up with them. And it's something I always love to do at festivals, is to invite other people to play with me. Because when I'm not playing in the ukulele world, I'm always on my own. So it's really nice for me to turn up at a festival and go, right, you get over here. You're in my band now. Yeah. I want a band. I've got all these cool people around me. I want you to be in my band. That's a great thing to be able to do.
When we don't fear that we don't lose when we share, we gain. And I think it's a mistake to think, well, if I share this one special thing that I have, then I'm not going to be special anymore. It's getting beyond that and realizing that the more you share, the more the pie gets bigger instead of smaller.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's
it's a magic pie
built into the way the ukulele social network works. Some things, for instance, guitar sometimes is the opposite. People are really not sharing.
Very guarded.
Figure out who's going to be king of the hill and who's the best in the group or whatever. That just doesn't happen.
No, I think the uke is a very ego-free instrument.
Yeah.
And it's nice when, and it's also a very social instrument as well. So you can have 30 ukulele players all playing together. And
or
they
one
will.
player playing 13 ukuleles that he owns.
Oh yeah.
We all wish we were there.
Hey, I want to share something which
Yes.
is made by someone who I think is quite a mentor and quite an artist and builder. This is a uke made by Aaron Kime.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yay, Aaron.
We love Aaron.
This
From Boulder.
is called the Wayfinder.
The Wayfinder. Ooh.
This is the Wayfinder. And it has come our way for a very short amount of time. Aaron made this uke to be sent around and shared.
Oh, how cool.
We're all going to play it. We're all going to have an experience with it and pass it on. This is an instrument that's made to inspire us to create with it and to share with it.
That's fantastic.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
Go,
Aaron's
Aaron.
talking about a journey that takes a few years for it to go round and round. And when we're done with it, it'll go to the next artist. And they'll share some time with it and they'll send it on to the next one. So
it might be coming to you, Phil, sooner or later.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it over.
Well,
to
I know
the East.
Aaron is coming here. Aaron is coming to the UK. He's coming over to do something with Matt at the Uke Room.
Oh,
nice.
He's teaching at the retreat, the one in the summer.
Perfect.
So even if I'm not booked for that one, I'm going down there anyway.
Yeah.
I hope Nicole's
just to
coming
hang out.
His wife, who
Oh
is
yeah, I think they are coming as a family unit. Yeah,
fabulous.
and
She
Henry
is
too.
So beautiful, and what she brings is just it's gorgeous. She brings this world of song, which is about knitting community together. It's really beautiful. So
No, absolutely.
Yay, that is very cool.
Shout out to Aaron. Yeah.
That's pretty inspiring.
Yeah, let me hold on to this for a second. Let me get this little book. Actually, you play it just for a second while I show you the stuff that came with it. It's really nice.
Okay.
And for everybody, the Youth Group retreat in the Forest of Dean this summer is going to be June 26th, and you can find all that information over at the Quiet American website, which we've got a link in the show notes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice. It came with these instructions on the instrument that go, and they're handily laminated, so we can't destroy them
Nice.
on our coffee table. And this little book that, of course, is handmade by Aaron.
Of course.
Because Aaron is gorgeous that way.
That's sort of the travel log that all of us get to write in about our experiences while we're babysitting this.
Cool.
So far this came with us to Palm Springs for the Palm Springs Festival. It came up to Durango with us. We took it to New Mexico, and we recorded all the songs that are in the Christmas book. We're gonna be putting them all on Daniel's website for free downloads because no one pays for music. So why not just put it up there for free?
We want people to play this music, and
Yes.
Yeah.
you learn it by ear by listening to the songs that are on in the book. So,
You've already sold me on that book, that beautiful song you guys sang together. It's in the book, right?
Orboletta.
that one's not in the book.
You guys really need to work on the marketing angle.
So this is the instrument that's being played on those recordings, and we're hoping to write a couple of songs on it before we send it on to the next.
Almost time for it to go. Probably right after Christmas, it will go to another artist. But we're going to write a couple things.
And just for my information, it looks like a concert, or what is it?
Yeah, it's a concert.
He calls it actually an alto.
Okay.
It's a soprano body with a
neck or something.
With a concert neck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So a standard with a concert neck. So he calls it an alto.
Cool.
And it's got wood from
all over the world.
There's Hawaiian koa on the back, and the front is spruce, I think. The neck is Doug fir, which is one of the things that Aaron does that's really excellent.
Interesting.
And then there's some Oregon myrtle in there, I believe.
And this crazy rope binding everywhere.
I think that the journey of this instrument is is on his website under the Wayfinder or something.
Okay. He'll have to reference this podcast because
yeah.
Send it along. Oh, cool. Let's see. You kind of talked about this best holiday song. I like that Boboletta.
The song so a lot of these songs came, actually all of them came to us because I was teaching kindergarten through 8th grade at my daughter's school, and it's a very diverse student body here in Los Angeles. So every year for the Christmas pageant, I tried to put together songs that reflected the kids in the school and gave them what they could do best.
Yeah.
So that's why we had a Brazilian song, because we had a girl whose family was from Brazil. But a good quarter of the school comes from the Philippines. So we have a Filipino Tagalog song, which is the most fun Christmas song.
It's our favorite ever.
Our favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
You're going to have to play for Aldrin Guerrero.
Yeah. He knows it, I'm sure.
I would think.
Like everyone knows this song.
Really old, popular song. So this is a song that's played when people, yay! This is a song that's played when people go caroling. It's kind of the Bring Us the Figgy Pudding song. Sa mo bahay ang aming bati, Merry Christmas na mawalhati, ang pag-ibig pagsiyang naghari, araw-araw magiging kaskawati. Ang sagip po nagpaparito, hihinggit po nagagwinaldo, kung sakaling kami perwisyo, pasyensya na kayo't kating lalmalwas ko.
Hey!
But those two songs, what they have in common that make them really our favorite songs is that they both go major minor.
Okay.
That one goes minor major, and the other one goes major minor on the chorus and verse. And there's something so darn tangy about that.
Who doesn't love a good polka?
And
that's it. Okay, is that the secret of polkas? I didn't know it.
So that's our favorite Christmas song.
Those are our favorite Christmas songs.
Cool. How about you, Phil?
Oh, well, you said something about easy, medium, and hard. So I picked three that I've done with people that I've taught. The easy one, which is one of my favorite ones to do because it's one of my favorite chord sequences to teach, is not a traditional song at all. It's Lonely This Christmas by Mud. Now, did that even make it over the water?
I've never heard of it.
You need to look it up then. There was a wonderful TV appearance with a ventriloquist doll and everything. It's the band was called Mud. Mud, M-U-D, and the song is Lonely This Christmas, and the whole thing is a 1-6-4-5 progression, the doo-wop progression.
Oh, nice.
And it's sort of kind of sung in a Cod Elvis style.
Oh, okay.
And it's wonderful. It's a song about being on your own at Christmas, and it's lovely. It's a beautiful thing.
Excellent.
And it's a great one to teach because it just goes round and round that pattern. And it's a pattern that I teach all the time. So probably most of my students will already know it.
Right.
So we can just use that. The medium one, sort of not a little bit more difficult, is the classic Gene Autry, Here Comes Santa Claus. You must know that one. And that's the one I get them all doing the Gene Autry rhythm, which is everyone sitting there as if they're riding a horse or a reindeer in this case. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. And this is a lovely one for getting the rhythm going. It's a fantastic one. But my absolute favorite, which is a really difficult one to teach to people and difficult to play, is the classic, the Christmas song. Melt or May. Yeah. Which I'll stick an arrangement of it up on my website for people to have a go at. But
is it the Chestnut song?
Yeah. It has a lot of chords in it, and there are lots of 13ths and 6/9s and flat 5s and all sorts through it. It's a real finger buster, but it's a lovely one. And I think there's a video doing it from Christmases past.
Oh, nice. We'll have to
3 years ago on YouTube.
There's a lyric. There's a version also that has the lyrics that describe the chord changes.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, yes, there is.
Which is really excellent. It's like a little theory lesson as you play.
Yes, I remember that now you mention it. Yeah, absolutely. No, that is one of my favorite ones to do. So I'll stick a chart up for that one.
Well, the easy song one, Heidi and Daniel, you said that I Saw Three Ships is basically like just C6 and C or something.
Well, you can do it. That's the way we like to do it, as a song that everyone can play along on. And we can also make it so that everyone can sing it, because we ask, what do you think was on the ship on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day? What do you think was on the ship on Christmas Day in the morning? What do you think, Phil? What's on the ship?
What's on the ship? It must be Christmas Pirates.
Oh,
Christmas
Pirates! Christmas Pirates were on the ship on Christmas Day, on Christmas. So you can sing about anything, and you can put other cultures, whatever the kids come up with, or adults. You can have Hanukkah candles on the ship.
Chocolate tubas.
Right?
I was suggesting the 7-Eleven hot dog from
hot dogs.
7-Eleven hot dog that
7-Eleven hot dogs.
Doug had somewhere.
There's another one that works in exactly that same way that I wrote down here, which is called Almost Day by Leadbelly.
Oh wow!
And it's 2 chords. It just rocks back and forth between 2 chords. And all the children are happy on Christmas Day. All the children are happy on Christmas Day. Whatever you want on Christmas Day, twice.
Nice.
And I think I don't think a lot of time went into it. I think it was a hurried Christmas release for Leadbelly, but it works great for teaching people because you can just play F and C7. And,
I love really simple songs like that. The dreidel song works great that way too.
Yeah.
I have a little dreidel. I made it out of clay, and when it's dry and ready with my dreidel, I shall play. But you don't have to make it out of clay. What do you want to make your dreidel from? Doug.
Hot dogs.
Hot dogs.
I had a little dreidel I made from a hot dog. I ate that little dreidel. Oy vey, I was such a hog. So it becomes a rhyming game, and you make a dreidel out of whatever people want to make the dreidel out of.
That was so not kosher.
It was a beef frank.
Yeah, beef frank. Yes, indeed. A kosher dog.
Bacon wrapped.
Doug, you're gonna have to play some of these songs at the next. When's the next ukulele gathering?
Oh, next Saturday. This is a unique OokTown because it's before the actual meeting.
Right. That only happens like once or twice a year.
Exactly. But my favorite is a song called Salmon Claus is coming to town. It goes, he's better than trout. He's tasty with fries. He doesn't cause gout. He's good for your eyes. Salmon Claus is coming to town. Oh, and it goes on and on. It's awesome. Oh, and we're playing along, and people are just going, oh. I'm like, yes, this is what I feed on. So yes, it's awesome.
That is your song for Christmas. Awesome.
Oh, dear.
All right.
Love it.
We're winding down here, and I did want to mention that in Hawaii, the mentor thing, relationship, they like a lot of traditions, like flamenco and so forth, they didn't have any formal teaching of slack key. So there was just like, you had the guy, just sit down in front of the master and just listen. And that was all they did. They didn't ask questions. They didn't do anything. They just sat there and listened. I was like, really? Because yeah, a lot of the players, that's how they learned slack key.
Just press.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just press.
All right. Wow, we've been here for a while. So I'm actually you guys, if the last one I had was the best way to get something done, because I'm having a hard time starting and doing any songs yet. I've been wanting to do this ukulele meditation album. It's just one thing after another. What do you guys suggest about best ways of getting something finished?
Well, I would go, my absolute favorite is the Santa Claus method. You make a list, you check it twice. You're going to find out what's easy and what's not easy, but making sure that you break things down into kind of achievable chunks where you have, I'm going to do the new Christmas or the new meditation album, but you don't put that on the list. You put that as a heading. And then underneath that, you say, I'm going to get out my ukulele. That depends on if you want to be like, I love crossing things off lists so much. So I'll go get out my ukulele, make sure to tune and then put the strings going out, and then write all the songs. That's so the making lists. I love lists.
You gotta try Trello. I love Trello is a wonderful thing. Great, good advice. Okay, Doug, thank you. Great. Let's go to Phil. What do you have?
I try not to do the big heading, so I don't think I'm going to make an album. I'll just write a song. And when I've written that song, I will probably record the song, even if it's just a quick rough demo. So I go, right, that song is done. There it exists. I can listen to it. And then I'll write another song. And at some point, I'll get to a place where I go, and that's a collection of songs. So for that last EP that I did, I wrote one set of lyrics, which I wasn't expecting to do. They came out of the blue. I wrote them on the Friday. I was away on the weekend. I was teaching Monday and Tuesday. So I thought on the Wednesday, I must record that song. So I got my gear out. I recorded that song. And then the next day I wrote another one. And so, I thought, I'll do the same again. I'll do it. And then I had a routine. And that just kept going. Each day I got up, I wrote a song. I had my lunch, I recorded the song. And then I didn't try and do anything else that day. That was it. And by the end of that week, I'd got that EP. But I think one of the things that's a big killer for things like this, and you mentioned it when in the notes you sent out to us, was perfection. I used to try and make everything so perfect that writing songs was such a painful experience for me that nothing ever got done, and it would take years. And I didn't write anything for about 15 years. And then this year, I put out an album of original stuff. I did an EP that had a couple of original tunes on it. And then a few weeks ago, did an EP of original stuff. I wasn't really planning to do it, but all of those things happened without an idea of what the end point was. I just started doing things, and then I went, hey, this is an album. I'll put this together. Those things work together. And then I'll write another song, and that might go with another group of songs. But the idea of everything having to be perfect, and I'm finding that with recording as well. So when I record things now, I'm much more... I had a discussion with a friend about this. They were saying that making records now is much more like a painting than a photograph. Whereas back in the old days, it was like a photograph. You went in, you turned on the machine, you did your one take, and that was your record. Just like sitting there and having your photo taken. Whereas I suppose not even a painting, it's like Photoshop now. You could spend a week making this picture look absolutely perfect. And what happens is it doesn't look like a real person. And it's the same with recording. I find that you can go so far that you might make a record that sounds perfect, but it doesn't sound like a human being. And I listen back to all the music that I love, which is all pre-war stuff. None of it is perfect. It's pretty much a first take. But what it has got is it's got an energy to it, and it's got a sense of time. It's got a sense of that happened then. It wasn't then polished over the next 6 months, year, whatever. So a lot of what I do now is I try and work really fast, because then what I can't do is go, oh my goodness, that song only had 2 chords in, and it's the same 2 chords as that song I wrote last week. That's no good. Throw it away. When actually, what's wrong with having a song with 2 chords in the same 2 chords that you used last week, if they're the right 2 chords and they work with that song? And I sometimes don't realize I've done that until the thing's out. It's too late then. You've done it and it's gone, and you think, oh crikey, all those songs were in C. Oh, never mind. You overthink these things. What C's?
I know, that's like saying, oh, I shouldn't have coffee again tomorrow.
Say that. Yeah, exactly. Most of the records I listen to are one of 4 different chord progressions. All the blues ones are all 1-4-5 progressions. All the jug band songs are circle of 5th progressions. They use the same thing over and over again. There's a reason why. It's because it worked. And I think that if you try and make everything too perfect and overthink everything, you either get nothing done or you give yourself so much time to just throw it away. You live with it too long. So my advice is just do it. Just do it. Get it done, then do something else.
So that's the part that Dave Brown needs to listen to, because he's he can get into my twin brother can get into that kind of I want things to be perfect. It's
hard. It's hard. I want to hear from Heidi and Daniel. And I just, the one thing that you brought so into clear focus, so many people don't realize that one of the most popular ukulele songs was done just in one take, and it was in the modern era. Brother is the Somewhere Over the Rainbow. The story that you guys should read the story about that, where he had his producer or someone call up the recording studio, and that guy had just had a horrible day recording some I don't know, rap group or hip hop artist, where they were just, trying to get the vocal perfect. And it was just over and over trying to get this one phrase. And the guy just was like, it's late in the evening, early in the morning. He just wanted to go home. And then this guy calls him up and says, hey, Brett, I got to come in and record these songs. He goes, really? Okay, you got 15 minutes. And Brother came over there, and one take, he recorded 2 amazing songs, Somewhere Over the Rainbow medley and White Sandy Beach. Both of those done in one take. That was it. There was nothing but a little reverb, and he just went right through it one time. And people don't, it's like, really? And that song is just classic, and it's incredible. So good stuff. So Heidi and Daniel, what are your thoughts on these, getting things done? And
my favorite thing is to change something in my environment. Like this, for instance, I had a lot of work to do on the arrangements in Sibelius, and there was just like oodles of notes to look at and tab to make sure it was in the right spot. And it was like really, I was not having a good time trying to finish just looking at all this stuff. And it's just too much work to make sure after it's done and clean it up and all that stuff, you know, a lot of editing. And so I just changed the studio around. I cleaned it and put the chair into place, and I made the room comfortable. Suddenly I was like, oh, this is a cool space. And I started working.
Nice.
Just changing some kind of focus. It's, you know, like an old Zen kind of thing where you just sit down and you reimagine your ability to do something because you're enjoying it again.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. That's possibly why my last EP hasn't got any ukuleles on it. Because I was stuck for things to do. So I put the uke down, I got a tenor banjo and I got a 5-string banjo. And suddenly I was having fun doing something different. And then ping, all these songs appears. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. Heidi, did you want to add anything?
I find that once I commit to something, all I have to do is just keep saying yes, yes. So when we decided to do the art in this, and I sent it off to my friend Nancy, when she had an idea about the style, I said, yes, do it, yes. And the more yes you put into it, the more things keep going, because no stops things. So if something's really not right, or it's not coming the way you want it, instead of saying no, thinking about going yes and moving on. It's kind of like an improvisation game, but yes. More yes.
Cool.
So Heidi, have you done improv stuff?
Yes.
The yes and.
Yeah. Yes and.
And I had a great time. Yeah.
I learned so much from doing improv. It was really the thing that helped unstick me as a performer. I worked with a wonderful man who was an improv performer, Bob Coher, who decided that we should do a musical. And we got a brilliant piano player who could just, he would just start vamping and it would become a song and we would start singing. And we created a format of what does a musical need? You know, so the first song in the musical is the opening number, and we would get a suggestion from the audience and base the whole thing on that. And without ever having a conversation about what would happen, we would do a full musical, beginning, middle, end, heroine, hero, antagonists, complications. The whole thing would just roll itself out. And once you get to that feeling of like just free creating, it's really addicting. And that's the place I like to be in songwriting, in performing, in all the work that we do. That place of just explosive freedom.
It sounds a little bit like flow, you know, when you get that, when you tap into that, that's
it's
really
super flow.
Super flow.
The super flow. We're in this, so we know a band. We're not in this band because the band is only comprised of superheroes. All
nice.
Superheroes in the band. We sometimes assist two of the superheroes. But this band is called Super Broke. It's the brass, string, tin, and electric marching ensemble. And the Super Broke band, its motto is to release to keep the super flow going and to fight the evil anti-groove.
I like it.
The super flow against the anti-groove. Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And a link to their Facebook page is going to be in the show notes.
Did you find super
I
flow?
did. Oh yeah, they're great.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Oh, Doug, you want to wrap us up here? You have anything else?
Stuart, what about you? What are you going to do to finish your project?
Yes, Stuart.
I'm just going to say yes, and I have other things to do. No,
clean the space that you're gonna work in.
Well, good thing that I think I like the ideas of changing things up. This, if I revealed back here, you would say yes. It's let's clean this up. So that's a good idea. There's too much junk around. I've got I start too many things, and instead of focusing on finishing, I need to quit starting stuff and just finish stuff. I think is one thing. I like the yes and I like the what Phil said about just don't overthink it, and just don't worry about it. That's the perfectionism thing is tough.
No, don't chew on that boot.
Yes.
No, Doug, it's yes, and choose something else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you weren't supposed to eat boots. No.
She's still a pup. How old is she? Oh, here we go. Daisy.
She is too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Terrible twos. All right. Well, we have gone through everything. We've had a wonderful time. Oh, so great.
I'm so happy to see all of you. And
Yeah.
Phil, it's always such a big, warm, fuzzy treat to see you, man.
Oh, you too. It's great to see both of you.
Yeah.
Come again.
We'll make sure we do. Don't worry. We'll be back.
Awesome. Well, Phil's got his new EP out. Go to his website. We'll have a link in there. phildoleman.co.uk. Is that right? We'll have it.
Right.
Or Spotify or Bandcamp.
Doug.
Yeah.
Hey, Doug.
And Doug. Can't forget Doug.
We want to come to Denver.
We do have to say to Doug because there you go. That's it. Because Doug, it's coming up on the stock show, and many times we don't get to see Doug when the stock show, or if we do, we just have a little glimpse of him. So, Doug, what's going on? And
yes, as we've mentioned before, the January meeting is always country western themed because we have a huge stock show here that's this will be the 114th year of the National Western Stock Show, and that I'm their AV guy. So during the 2.5 weeks that it runs, it's 12-hour days every day, and so super busy. But because of that, I never get to play country western songs with the folks at the Denver Ute community. But that's okay because I sit in my office and play when we have downtime. So, but we're doing our holiday songs meeting this upcoming Saturday, and that should be awesome. That's always fun. And
Saturday, huh?
Yep.
So
you guys want to come down?
Well, after the podcast, email us with your addresses, and one of these will arrive in your mailbox.
Woohoo!
Okay?
Absolutely.
Promote and play. I love that songs too. Some of those songs in there.
Including the UK ship. We'll ship one to you, Phil, okay?
Yay. Thank you. I'll send you one of these other ones then. I'll send you a great book.
I'll send you some
Hot
orange
dog.
vanilla Dr. Pepper or Coca-Cola, who's the brand new sponsor on the show. I didn't get to tell you about that, Stuart.
Wow. Okay. We can retire now. Heidi and Daniel, so great to have you back.
It's great to be here.
Thank you, Stuart.
And wonderful that you did your songbook. We will have a link in the show notes. I think Doug has probably already gotten that. Where are you going next? Are you on tour? What's your next? You mentioned it, but
can go to Kernville.
We're going to go to the Kernville Ukulele Club and have their holiday uke night with them.
Kernville, and where is that?
That's near Bakersfield.
Okay, so California, just kind of out in the
A couple of years ago, I did a short article about their club. It takes place in this little inn. Roberta and Josh Gordon.
That's Josh and Roberta, yes.
Yeah. We're going to see their uke group tomorrow night, so yeah.
Oh, say hi from me.
We will.
The year Roberta was born, her parents built the hotel. This little cool, kitschy mid-century hotel, and they run their uke club in the old dining room of the hotel.
So cool.
It is the sweetest place. So we go up, we stay at the Pine Cone Inn. Here's a plug for the Pine Cone Inn in Kernville, California.
The Pine Cone Inn!
And what's really grand about it is if you are a ukulele player, and you're going across California, you need to stay there and join their ukulele club on Tuesdays. So just try to like stop there. It's like on the ukulele tourism caravanning site.
Time it, arrive there on a Tuesday and stay for the evening. Awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful town. In the summer, they've got river rafting and all kinds of. It's a really beautiful little mountain town.
Oh,
Yep.
wow.
They're good 30, 40 strong there too. So
Really? Wow.
It's a wonderful club. Yeah.
Okay.
And Phil knows Josh and Roberta. They are just
gorgeous people.
fabulous people.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Well, thank you everyone so much for being on the show.
pleasure.
Daniel, Phil.
Stuart, thank you for persevering and doing this over and over.
I know it's Doug. You know, we're coming up on the 9th or 10th year. What are we? Is this the 8th?
We're one of those.
Yeah, we've been doing it for a while. So, yeah, it's been so good to just see the evolution of the ukulele and continue to talk about it and have a great time with people like you guys.
Right on, Doug. Right on, Stuart.
Good.
Great. Well, thank you guys so much. And as we do on every show, on 3, let's all say aloha. As everyone ready?
Yep.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Aloha.
Aloha. All right. Thanks, everybody. It's been great to see you guys. So we'll look forward to seeing you hopefully some other time. Hey, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna end the broadcast, by the way. But you guys should still be on. Let's make sure that I think that happens. End broadcast.